My name is Michael. I'll be taking you today through the Advanced Club Website Administration webinar. We'll be covering some less frequently used features within Club Runner and some more important ones that I think should be brought to your attention that you can make use of to really improve your websites. I'm also joined here today by my co-host Mickey here. He will be going through and he'll be monitoring the different the Zoom chat and Q&A sessions or section, and he'll be answering any questions that you guys may have throughout the webinar. So if at any point you guys do have some questions that you would like some more information on, feel free to post them in the Q&A or in the chat, and Mickey will be glad to get you some more information on those. Towards the end of the webinar, Mickey will also be hosting a short Q&A session where he'll be answering some of the more commonly asked questions, as well as some more important ones that may be coming up. So please do feel free to stay for the entire thing, and hopefully you'll be able to gather a whole lot of new information to continue working on your Club Runner websites. So for some of the items that we'll be covering today, so you can see we have a number of different items. One, we will be going over the various different access levels that are used within Club Runner. I know we've talked about this a little bit over the course of the past few days in some of our other webinars as well, but these are really important for everyone to understand, as these are the backbone of Club Runner and allow you to decide what features everyone will be able to access in your club. We'll also be going over some of the other uses of the website designer. I know in the previous beginner webinar you had went over the website live designer and the basics how to use it. So we'll be taking that a little bit further, where we'll be going and creating custom pages for your club's websites, some custom widgets that you can include. So this is going to be for a variety of different things, just about whatever you would like to include on your website, you can use a custom widget for. And we'll also be talking about one of our newer widgets, the Facebook page plugin, which will allow you to share some information on your club's website. Specifically, it'll allow you to share the Facebook feed of your club's Facebook page directly on your club's website, whether it be the home page or a custom page. And then we'll also be going over another frequently discussed topic by our support team is blocked emails. So you may have run into some issues where some members are not receiving emails. So we'll be covering some more information about that today. So let's go ahead and we can get started on our first topic of access levels. So let me just go ahead and we can swap over to our account that we will be using for today. Oh, there we go. So here we are. We're already logged into our club's website. We are logged in here as John Valentine, who happens to be a site administrator for our club website. Generally, for the most part, all of the different areas and sections that we'll be accessing today will require an access level of 30, which is a site administrator. There are a handful of other sections that can be accessed by a regular level 50 club executive, but I will note those pages once we do go over them. So otherwise, you can assume that you will only be able to access some of these pages specifically as a site administrator. We are logged in as John Valentine, who is a site administrator here. And this will give John here full administrative access to just about every page within Club Runner. Now, there are a number of other different access levels that determine what an individual can or cannot access. So another one, which is fairly popular, is the level 50 club executives access, which I had just mentioned. And as you can see here, up at the top, we have a couple of different tabs of this this navigation dashboard, which will let us see exactly what type of stuff that the executives have access to. So let's go ahead and click on this executives tab, and we'll take a look at this really quickly. So we are now on the executives dashboard, which will give us a list of all of the different things that the executives have access to. So they can go in and they can edit their own profile through the My Club Runner tab. This is something that just about everyone will be able to do, whether it be regular club members, level or editors of the club, executives or site administrators. That's something that everyone will be able to go through and do. If we scroll down just a little bit, we can see some more information or some more tools that help with our club engagement. So specifically, we have the communication module, the events and volunteering module, as well as the attendance module. These are all features that that as a level 50 club executive, you will be able to go in and have access to. If we scroll down just a little bit further, we have some club and membership management tools as well. So we can go in under the membership heading and we can manage our general club membership. So this includes adding, terminating, or editing member profiles. This also includes things like contact records or designation, or like handing out designations to members like Paul Harris Fellows for those of you in Rotary clubs. We also have the organization tab over to the right, where this will help allow you to change the information about your regular club membership. So this includes like the list of club executives and directors, committees, just general club information. That's not everything that you can do, but you can take a look at this section here to review some of that information. As we scroll down, we also have access to some reports, RI integration settings, as well as the ability to edit some website content. Now, this is all stuff that you can access as a level 50 club executive. If we do scroll back up, we also have access to the level 60 editors tab here as well. So let's go ahead and click on that. And scroll down just a little bit. And again, we see we have access to the My Club Runner section. But as a level 60 club editor, you'll see that the items that we can access is a lot more limited. So as a level 60 club editor, we can go through and we can edit, or we can access the website content of the of your club's website. So this includes things like like stories or news articles that may be created to share on your homepage, or any like custom pages, things like that. As a level 60 editor, you'll also be able to go through and upload and create photo albums, download files, as well as the ability to create some custom pages. And as we continue to go down, you can see we still have access to the communication module, and we still have access to the events and volunteering module. But we are missing out on a lot of the membership management features that are available as you go up the access level rankings, I should say. And now let's scroll back up to the top and we'll go over the very last major access level that we have here, which is the level 70 members access level. Now, this is the most restricted access level in terms of being able to go in and make use of the club's website. There are some more restricted ones, but generally those are for members that aren't really going to be using the website. They can only really go in and edit their profile. But as a member, you will be able to go in and you can access the My Club Runner section in order to go through and edit your profile. And as you can see, this includes email services. So you will be able to go in and you can send out emails to your club. You can go in, you can view club documents here. As you can see, you can take a look at some of the club committees. And you can also access the events and volunteering tab. But if you might notice, some of the links here are a little bit different. As a level 70 member, you'll be able to go in and you can access a lot of these different modules, but you won't be able to make changes to anything within it. It's more so that you can go in and you can review the ongoings of your club. So you can go in, you can send out emails, take a look at some documents that have been uploaded. You can go and you can register for events or volunteer sign-up lists that might have been created for your club. But other than that, you are fairly restricted in what you can do. So as a site administrator, it is really important to understand these access levels so that you can provide and update member profiles to use the correct ones. So you don't want to be assigning a level 50 club executive access level to a regular member who shouldn't be able to go in and access a lot of this information, or be able to edit things that they shouldn't be able to. So I do recommend going through and familiarizing yourselves with a lot of these access levels. So let's also go through really quickly how we can go about taking a look at what access levels have been assigned to some members, as well as how we can update the access levels for our membership. So in order to do this, we're going to want to go ahead and we're going to want to access our active members list page so that we can go in and we can review our members' profiles. So in order to do this, let's go ahead and in the top blue navigation menu, we can go ahead and click on membership. And then in the secondary navigation bar that's right below it, the little gray one that's right underneath, the very first option you'll see is members list. If we click on this, it'll bring us to the active members list page. As I'm sure many of you are familiar with if you've attended some of our other earlier webinars. And you can see here that we have a big list of all of our currently active members within our club. If you've been paying attention, you may notice that there is an access column here, and it has a bunch of numbers that are listed down below it. And these numbers are what indicate which access level that individual member has. So we can see that Sue Baker has an access level of 30, which is a site administrator. Lay Brackett here has an access level of 40, which is reserved for club presidents. John Corporal here has an access level of 70, which is a regular club member. And Cyril Kornbluth here has an access level of 50, which is for club executives. So this access column is a great way for you to be able to go in and you can quickly review what access level each member of your club has. If you see any access levels here that a member shouldn't have, I do recommend that you go in and you review this information to make sure that it is correct. And then if not, you can go in and you can update it to make sure that it's been fixed. So let's go ahead and we can update one of our members here. Let's go ahead and change the access level for our member here, Jose Smith. They looks like they have level 30 site administrator access level, but they haven't really been heavily involved with the club as of recently. So we want to go ahead and we can remove that information so that they don't have to deal with a whole lot of the administrative end of Club Runner. So let's go ahead and click on their name to open up their member profile. And from here, we can scroll down just a little bit. And you can see up at the top, we have these 6 different tabs. We have personal, rotary, biography, commitments, settings, and privacy. In order to edit the access level of this member, we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on the settings tab. And right under the system login heading, you'll see club access level. And you see that they are currently a level 30 site administrator, as I mentioned before. In order to update this, we're going to go ahead and click on the edit button in the top right corner. And from there, we'll be able to go in and access this drop-down menu in order to change which access level this individual person has. Now, I'm going to note one additional thing that's important to know. You only be able to update the access level of a member in your club up to an access level that is equal to your own. So if you are a level 50 club executive, for example, you'll only be able to improve the access level of a member up to a level 50 club executive. You, as a 50 executive, you wouldn't be able to give them the level 40 president access level, and you wouldn't be able to give them the level 30 site administrator access level. And the same applies for, say, if a regular club member. Well, actually, in this case, a regular club member wouldn't be able to make this change in general. They wouldn't be able to access this profile. But as a 50 executive, you won't be able to go upgrade past 50. If as a level 40, you won't be able to upgrade past 40. And as a level 30, you'll be able to assign just about any of the different access levels, since 30 is the highest one. So let's go ahead and change this access level for this member here. Let's go ahead and we can set them back down to a level 70 member. And we can go ahead and click save. And now Jose here has had their access level updated to a regular 70 member. So once they come and they log into our club's website again, they will only be able to have access to the features that we saw listed under that members tab in the dashboard that we were taking a look at earlier. So that's pretty much all you really need to know about access levels. They are fairly straightforward once you've been able to get in and learn about them. And it's just a little bit of back and forth between seeing exactly what information an individual member needs to be able to access. And that is what will determine which access level you'll be able to apply, or you should apply to them. Now, let's go ahead and we can cover some more information regarding our actual club website. So within the beginner tutorials, or the beginner webinar that was just a couple hours ago, you had went over the website homepage designer. And just to recap, you can access that by going to New Website Beta in the top blue navigation bar, and then going to Homepage Designer in the secondary bar right below it. This gives you access to the Website Live Designer, where you can go in and you can customize the look and the feel and the position of all of the different content that is available on our website. So you can see up at the top, we have a nice banner. We have our navigation menu, and then we have this image here, and all this other different content below it that has all been inputted into the homepage through the use of the Live Designer. Now, you've been able to work on the actual homepage of your website, but what if you want to be able to say have like other separate pages where you have more specific or more direct content that you want to share with your website? So in order to do that, we can use what's called custom pages. These are separate pages on your website that you could choose to link to on your homepage or within another custom page or wherever you would like, for example. And you can include whatever content that you want there. So let's go ahead and we can create a custom page. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click on the back button just to get back into our member area. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to have to access the custom page library. In order to do that, we're going to go ahead and click on New Website Beta in the top blue navigation bar once again. And then in the same navigation bar we saw Homepage Designer, you will also see Custom Page Library. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And this will bring us to the view to take a look at all of the different custom pages that we have on this website. So we have a number here. We have About Our Club, About Us, Causes We Support. We also have a Christmas website flyer, for example. We have a number that are here. But if we want to create a new one, all we have to do is go ahead and click Create New Page. This will bring us to a new page where we can select a custom page template. The custom page templates are a very simple way for you to get a start on working on the page that you want to be using. So you can take a look through these custom pages, and you can find one that closely matches what the design of something that you're looking forward to do. So for example, we have this Volunteer With Us custom page, which includes, let me click on this one just so you can see a little bit better. It has a couple of different bands that you can go through that are multicolored. So it'll go through a white page, a blue, or a white section, a blue section, a lighter white section or like a gray section, and then another blue section. Or you can use one of our more simple ones, like the Become a Member page, which includes a nice little image banner up at the top, a little heading for you to use as like a quote, or just add some extra information about your club, as well as an option to include an article with an image to the left side, a main section where you can include some basic information, and then an extra button that you can use to direct people to to navigate to your contact page or bring them to another page on the website if you would like. If you're not really happy with any of these custom pages, we do have some blank ones down at the bottom. So we have a basic blank template, and then we have some other ones as well that are a little bit more simple. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to select one of these templates here. Let's go ahead and select the Become a Member custom page template. From here, after we've clicked on it, you'll see that it becomes this nice shade of blue, and I'll give you a nice little highlight indicating that it has been selected. So once you've selected your template, we can go ahead and click on the next button in the top right corner. This will take that custom page template and it will generate a new custom page for you, so that you can go through and you can customize it just about however you'd like. So if we scroll down, you'll notice that it looks pretty much exactly the same as the website live designer for your homepage. It's using the same designer. So the same principles that you guys learned in the beginner webinar will be pretty much exactly the same here. On the left-hand side, we have access to the website, the website or page preview, where we can continue to work on the content within it directly through this page preview. And then on the right-hand side, we have access to all of our different widgets and pieces of content that we can include on the page itself. Up at the top, we have access to these 3 different tabs here. We have the Content tab, which will allow you to access all of your widgets content. We have the Layouts tab, which will allow you to select the general layout of your page. This will change where you can place your widgets, and the general size or shape of them and how they'll appear on the page itself. And then we also have the Properties tab, which will allow us to change the basic information about the page, like the page title, the permalink that's used to access it, the page tab title, which is what will appear within your web browser's tab for that page. So if we had, for example, if we created a custom page we'll use this as an example, we have the Become a Member custom page. We can set the Become tab or the page tab title to Become a Member. And whenever an individual was to visit this page within their own website browser, up at the top where you have your different tab in your browser, that text will be what's displayed there. They'll see Become a Member as the title for that tab. We also have some other options, display on homepage, which will allow you to choose whether this widget will be displayed on the homepage through the use of the custom page widget that you can place on your website. If you don't have that widget on your homepage, this option won't really do anything, and it won't show it on the homepage unless you have that widget placed already. Next, we have the access level, which is public, which you can set to either public or requires login. So if you're creating a custom page and you want to restrict it to only members of the club or individuals that can log into your club's website, I should say, you'll want to go ahead and select the requires login access level. Otherwise, if you want the visitors of your club to be able to go in and access this page, you can select public access level. And then the final option here is the owner name. Now, this is a really interesting field that not a whole lot of people know about. With this owner name field, what you can do is you can go in and you can set the owner of the page. And this can be anyone within your club or anyone within your club, including individuals with a level 70 access level. So usually to create a custom page, you will need an access level of 60 editor in order to be able to go in and create these custom pages. But with this owner page field, you can go ahead and you can set the access level to anyone in the club. And regardless of whether they have the appropriate access level to create custom pages, if they are set as the owner, they will be able to go in and they can customize the page itself. Now, of course, these people won't be able to go in and create new custom pages. They will only be able to access pages that have been set as the owner of the page. So we can go ahead and we can set an owner here. So let's go ahead and select someone. So if you see here, it says type at least 3 letters of the first or last name in order to go in and like look for them. So let's go ahead and select one of our members. I'll just make sure I have the right name here to make sure everything is okay. Just bear with me for 1 second, sorry. There we go. Sorry about that. So we can go and we can search in the information of this page by entering in the individual's first name. And you can see we have a number of people that are listed here. So we can go ahead and select one of these individuals. So let's go ahead and select John Ford here. And we can go ahead and click save. Now, since John has been set as the page owner, they will now be able to go in and they can customize this page on their own. They won't need to, they don't need to have their access level upgraded. They'll just be able to go in and access these pages. So now let's go ahead and customize the actual page itself. So we'll go over this really quickly since a lot of this information has already been covered in the beginner webinar. So as I mentioned before, on the right-hand side, we have access to our widgets under the content tab. The for page heading here will list widgets that are specifically used within custom pages. So we have access to the page stories widget, the page news widget, as well as the page download files and page home photo albums widget. These will allow you to select various different pieces of content depending on the widget you pick in order to display them specifically on this custom page. So for example, if we want to include a bunch of these stories that we have available on our website on this page, we can go ahead and click and drag this page stories widget onto our live designer. And as we click and drag, you'll notice that we have a nice little green drop button that appears where we're hovering our mouse cursor over. And that will indicate whenever we let go of our mouse click and we stop holding the mouse button, that's where this widget will be placed. So we can go ahead and we can move it down here into the bottom of the main category right above the widget we already have. Or we can go ahead and we can put it up at the top, or we can put it over to the right, or we can put it at the bottom. Just, you get the idea. You can put it just about anywhere you want. So let's go ahead and drop it right here. And as you can see, the page stories widget has now been placed, but we don't have any content displayed within it quite yet. So let's go ahead and click Edit Widget, just by hovering your mouse cursor over it and clicking on it. And then we can go ahead and we can add some stories to this widget. So let's go ahead and click on the Add Story from Story Library button here. And this will give us a list of the various different stories that we have already created. So let's go ahead and select a couple that are listed already. So we'll select these 3. And then we can go ahead and click on the Add Selected Stories button. And as you can see, we get a nice confirmation message. Stories were added to the widget successfully, and we have them listed here. Now let's go ahead and click on the Go Back button in the top right corner. And that'll bring us right back to our page where we can now see that we have these stories listed. But how come we added 3 stories, but we only have 1 here? That's because of the settings of this page stories widget. So let's go ahead and change that. We can go ahead and click on the gear icon in the top right corner to customize the properties of this widget. And if we scroll down to the very bottom, I did that a little bit fast. If we scroll down to the very bottom of this of all of these different properties, we have the items to display option here. Now, this property will determine exactly how many stories will be able to be displayed at one time. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to change this to 3, since that is the amount of stories that we added originally. And we can go ahead and click on the save button. This will take that change that we just made, it'll apply it to the widget, and you can see that the 3 stories that we added to our custom page are now being displayed as we selected. So these are some of the these are the 4-page some how you can use widgets on these custom pages, and they'll pretty much work exactly the same. So for example, for formatted widgets, you can go in and you can select one of these widgets, drag and drop them onto your page, and then you'll be able to customize the content that is included within them however you'd like. Same thing goes for the essentials widgets here. These are some of the more important, I shouldn't say important, but some of the more commonly used widgets that a lot of clubs like to use on their homepage or custom pages, like their meeting information, a list of club executives and directors. You have access to the homepage stories widget, which will give you the exact same list that you have on your homepage. Access to custom pages, birthdays and anniversaries, all of this type of information. Next, we have the Carousels tab, which will allow us, we don't have an example of one here, but these carousels will allow you to go through and create a sliding, like a slideshow of a bunch of different images that you can include on your website. Let's see here. I think we should have an example for you. Give me 1 second. I do want to show that off to you really quickly. Yeah, so if we go over to our website's homepage, I'm just going to go ahead and move over there. Sorry for jumping around a little bit, but this is the homepage for our club's website. And you can see up at the top, we have this little slideshow that we can go ahead and click between. Oh, actually, doesn't seem to be working on this buzzer. Let me go ahead and pull this one over. This one seems to be working. So you can see here that we have, we can click on these little left and right arrows to go in through and change between these images. This is what you can do with a carousel on your page. So let's go ahead and we can create one of those really quickly. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click and drag on one of our dynamic carousels here. And this will bring us to our new page. So we can edit the carousel properties up at the top left, or we can add in a description. This will just be any information that you want to include. So let's say this is a dynamic carousel. We go ahead and click save. And this is just some basic information about the carousel itself. So that individuals that are coming in and they're taking a look at all of these things that you've created later on, we'll have some more information about exactly what's going on. So, and then to the right of the properties, we also have the widget properties. Now, these allow you to customize exactly how the slideshow itself will work. So we can change the title of the widget. We can select whether we want to show that title on the carousel itself. We can choose the type of animation that the carousel will be doing. By default, it's set to slide, but there are a couple other options that you can pick from. You can select the transition time. So this will determine how long an individual picture is being displayed for. You may have noticed that there were a couple of indicators on that carousel we were taking a look at. So the carousel indicators position allow you to change where those are located, as well as a bunch of other different net customization options for your carousel. And then if we scroll down just a little bit, we have access to the Carousel Slides. This is where we can select which images are being displayed within the carousel itself. So let's go ahead and select Upload Slide. And from here, we can go ahead and choose to load an image from our image library. So let's go ahead and do that. You can click on Load Image from Image Library. And then this will bring up a page for us to take a look at. Sorry, it opened up my other monitor here. And we can select which images that we want to display within it. So we can go ahead and double click on the carousel that we'd like to use. Or if you'd like to upload your own, you can go to the My Images folder here. And you can click on the upload option up at the top. And this will allow you to select and upload an image directly from your own computer. In this case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use some of these ones that are already available for us here. So I'm just going to double click. And this will load the image from the image library. Then we can add some additional information about that slide. So we can add in the title. So let's just go ahead and say Carousel Slide 1. Then you can choose to include some additional information about or a description about that slide. So we can say this is the Carousel Slide 1 description, just for the sake of the example. And if you want to display this information that you've included in the description on the actual carousel itself, when you're viewing the page, you can go ahead and select this Show Slide Description on the Carousel Description checkbox. And if we scroll down just a little bit further, we have access to our carousel link settings. This is a really cool feature that will allow you to add a button to your carousel so that individuals can click on it, and it'll bring them to, say, a custom page that you've created, or just another website that you want to share with visitors to your website. So let's go ahead and type in a label of Club Runner. So now the label is the text that will be displayed on the carousel itself. Let's go ahead and select a link type. So there are a number of different ones that are available here. One is custom URL, which you can enter in a URL of your own choosing for what you'd like to do. But you can also choose to select a custom page, a document you've uploaded, an event you've created, some other of the built-in pages. You can select whatever you like here. So let's go ahead and select custom URL for now. And now we can go ahead and enter in the page link to where we want it to link to. So let's just go ahead and link it to clubrunsupport.com. And finally, you can select the button style. So this will change how the button looks on the site, as well as whether you want it to open in a new tab or not. So let's go ahead and click Save. And this will now add that slide to our carousel that we've just created. And you can continue to add as many slides as you would like. And it's exactly the same process as we've just done. So now let's go back by clicking on Go Back in the top right corner. And this will bring us right back to our custom page Live Designer. And from there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create what we call a custom widget. So let's go ahead and minimize the carousels tab here. And we can go down to the two custom widgets sections here. We have custom widgets global and custom widgets page specific. Now, these both function exactly the same with one exception. Custom widgets that are created under the global heading here are available to be used across every page of your club website. So this includes your website homepage, as well as any custom pages that you might have created. So if you want to be able to, if you want to be able to reuse a custom page across your website in various different places, you're going to want to create it under the global heading. If you want to, on the other hand, we have the page specific heading instead. And these custom widgets under the page specific heading are used specifically for the page that you're using, and they won't be accessible anywhere else. So if you create a widget using the page specific heading on your custom page, you won't be able to go and use that same widget on your home page, for example. It's restricted only to that custom page. So if you do end up doing that, you will end up having to recreate it on the home page, either as another page specific widget or as a global widget. So it's important that you select which one that you want to use right from the start. And if you suspect that you're going to be going ahead and using that widget in multiple different places, you'll want to create it as a global widget. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to use the page specific widget. So all we're going to do is we're going to click and drag just like we would for any other widget and drop it exactly where we want it to be placed. So let's put it right up at the top here, above in the main section of our story or of our custom page. And you can see it's placed there and it's ready for us to start editing. Now, you can choose to edit it just like any other widget where you click on it and you'll be able to access the general content here with a couple of the basic formatting features. So we can type in our text. We can type in whatever text we would like. And we can choose to say format it by centering it. We can change the size of the font here. We can change which font that we use for that text. We can change the paragraph type, so we can set it as a heading or not. And we can also change the color of the text as well. So let's go ahead and update this to let's make it green. And then we can, of course, we can also bold, italicize, and underline the text however we'd like. But these are some really basic features that pretty much anyone can use. But we can go ahead and we can get access to a bunch more of these different formatting options by going ahead and accessing the full content editor. Now, these are only available for the custom widget, but if we want to access that full editor, we can go ahead and click on this button in the top right corner. It looks like a little box with an arrow coming out of it. It may be a little bit difficult to see on the webinar on your screen right now. But if you hover your mouse cursor over it, you'll get a nice little pop-up that says Edit Widget. If we click on that, it will bring us, actually, it'll give us this draft versus live version. So this is a good thing to see. Generally, when you're editing a widget and it hasn't been published to your website quite yet, it is saved as a draft version. So what that means is that the draft version is only available within the website Live Designer, while the published version is what's currently available on your website. So if you see this, generally you're going to want to go ahead and click on Edit Draft Version so that you can continue to make changes to what you've already done. Or if it doesn't really matter too much and you just want to continue on from what's currently available on your website, you can abandon the draft and edit the published version. In this case, we want to edit the draft version, so we'll click on Edit Draft Version link. And now it will bring us to the full content editor. This gives us access to change the title. And we can, of course, change formatting for the title as well. And then if we scroll down, we have access to the full custom widget content editor. So now we have access to things like pasting content from Word as plain text or just in general. We have access to the ability to insert numbered lists or bulleted lists. We can also create links within this full content editor. We also have access to a spell checker, the option to create tables within the content editor, as well as a bunch of different things, including adding images. You can embed media. You can select different content templates. So whenever you're working on this type of custom content, I really, really recommend that you go in, you make use of these custom widgets, and you go in and you use the full content editor. Now let's go ahead and can customize this a little bit. So we already have this text here. Now we want to go ahead and we want to share a video with our membership directly on our website. We can go ahead and we can give a link to them. So if we wanted to share, say, like a YouTube video, for example, we can go in and we can type in the link here, youtube.com/video, for example, and people can go in, they can click on this link, they can copy the link, and they'll be able to go take a look at the video. But that's a little bit, how should I say, not very user-friendly. It makes them work for it a little bit. But we want to make this as easy as possible for our members or visitors to our website. So what we can do, instead of putting a link like that, we can do what's called embedding media. Now, this will allow us to take a third-party video, whether it be hosted on a platform like YouTube or Vimeo. We can take those videos and we can display it directly within our custom widgets. So let's go ahead and we can do that really quickly. So I have this video up at the top. This is a video that shows some information about the Club Runner mobile app, which if you don't already have installed on your mobile devices, I highly recommend you get that. It is a nice little club directory that you can use on the go so that you don't have to go log into your club's website to find information about a member. You'll have it at your fingertips. So we're going to take this video and we're going to embed it into our custom page. If we scroll down just a little bit, you can see that YouTube has this share option. If we click on that, it'll give us the option to share it to a bunch of different social media, including Facebook or Twitter. But you'll also have this embed option here. If we click on this, it'll give us the embed code on the right-hand side. Now, YouTube also gives you some, I accidentally closed it, sorry about that. Just gonna open that up once again. Now, YouTube gives you some other options, like to change where the video starts when someone clicks play. And you can choose some additional options for the embed. But generally, you can go ahead and copy all of this text that it gives you. So you can either highlight it and right-click copy, or you can go ahead and just click copy in the bottom right corner of the pop-up window, and that'll copy it for you. And then if we go back to our custom page template, or sorry, I should say our custom widget, we can now go ahead and we can embed that video that we just picked into our widget. So in the in the toolbar for the content editor, let's go ahead and click on Embed Media. And then we can go ahead, right-click, and paste the embed code that we had just copied into this section. And we can go ahead and click OK. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. And now, as you can see, the video has been embedded within our content. If we click play, you can go through and take a look at the video itself. And that's all there for us to use. Now, I'm going to mention this one other thing really quickly while we're in here. For those of you that are familiar with things like HTML or CSS, which is what's used to go through and it's the backbone of creating sites and how they look, how they feel, how they're laid out, and things like that. If you are familiar with that at all, this might be something that interests you quite a bit. Within the full content editor, you have access to this source option. Now, if you aren't familiar with HTML, I generally don't recommend messing around with this too much. But if you are more of an advanced user, If you are familiar with this type of stuff, you will be very glad to be able to have access to the raw HTML of the widget that you are currently working on. So you can go in and you can edit the various different HTML tags of the different sections within your widget, and you can customize it exactly how you want it to be. But again, I really stress this: if you aren't familiar with working with HTML, that you probably shouldn't touch this source option. So let's go ahead and we can close out of that for now. And let's go ahead and save and publish our new custom widget. So let's go ahead and click Save and Publish. And this will take our new custom widget. And if we scroll down, we can see that we have it now shown on our website. You may notice that our video is now displaying as a big white box with some text in the center saying iframe. Don't worry about that. That is completely normal. Once we publish our homepage and our custom page and we visit it within our web browser, it will be displaying as normal and it'll show the video itself. Now, there's one other widget that I'd like to show you, which is the Facebook feed plugin widget. And what this will do is it will allow you to take your club's Facebook feed and you can display it directly on your homepage, much like how we just embedded the video from YouTube. This Facebook widget will allow you to do something very similar with your club's Facebook page. So in order to do this, we need to go into the bulletin and BR widget category. And if you see, the very last one here is the Facebook page plugin. Let's go ahead and click and drag that to where we want it to be positioned on our custom page. So we'll just go ahead and drop it right here. And you'll see that it only shows up as this white box. That's perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and click on this Customize the Properties icon, which looks like a little cog over here. And this will open up the properties for our widget. And if we scroll down to the very bottom, we have this access to the Facebook page plugin settings. Now, this is where we can change the Facebook URL for our page. So let's go ahead and do that real quickly. I already have the Club Runner Facebook page open here. So what we can do is we can go ahead, visit our Facebook page, and then in your top browser of your website, go ahead and, the browser or address bar of your website browser, go ahead and copy the link to that Facebook page. Now, if we go back to our custom page live designer, we can replace the default one that's listed here with the new one that we've just copied. So we've set the Facebook URL for the widget, and now we can select some additional options. We can choose to select the timeline tab, the events tab, as well as the message tab within the widget, and you'll see exactly what each one of these are in just a second. Next, we can set the plugin height. So if you want to limit how tall the widget will appear within your website, you can adjust that through this option. I usually don't recommend messing with this too much, but if you want to be able to restrict things like the height, you can do that here. And then you have some additional options like to use a smaller version of your Facebook header. You can choose to hide any cover photos within the widget, as well as the option to hide the faces of any individuals that might have posted on the account. So let's go ahead and leave those as it is for now. And we can go ahead and click on the Save button. Now you'll see it still looks like it's a little bit white. Well, that's because the actual widget won't load within the live designer. We have to publish our page and look at it on the live website. So let's scroll up to the top of the page where we'll find the Publish button in the top right corner. We can click on that, and that will publish the page for us. As you can see, we get a nice little confirmation message at the bottom right, and that indicates that the page has now been published. So now let's go ahead and click on the View Live Page button, And that will take us directly to the page that we had just published so that you can preview it and you can take a look at what it looks like on the live website. So as you can see, we have the carousel that we've created up at the top with the Club Runner button that we created. If we scroll down just a little bit, we have access to the custom widget we've created, which includes that video that we had embedded earlier. So we can go through and we can watch this video directly on the page. And then if we scroll down even further, we can see we have our Facebook page widget showing right here as well. So we can scroll up and down the Facebook feed, and you can take a look at all of this news that might have been shared by the club directly through Facebook. You can also switch between the various different tabs. So if you have any events going on your Facebook page, those will be listed under the Events tab. And then you can also choose to allow people to message you through the Facebook page with this Messages tab as well. Of course, you will have to log into your own personal Facebook account in order to do this as well. Or sorry, I should say in order to send a message. So that's a lot of the things that you can do within the custom page designer. Of course, we can't cover everything since you have as much possibilities as you would like to in regards to your own customization or your own preferences. You'll be able to go through and you can customize these custom pages pretty much exactly how you would like. Especially if you are making use of the source option and writing your own custom HTML. Now, this is one thing that I did want to cover really, really quickly. It doesn't, you may have noticed that while we're looking at this page, in the bottom right corner, you'll see this little pencil icon. What this is, what this means is that we are logged into our website as an individual that has access to edit this page. If we were to click on this edit button, it will bring us right back into the website live designer to edit the page itself. So if you're navigating around your website and you see that, it's a really, really quick way to get in so that you can make any quick edits to that page that you would like to do, save them, and then you can come back really easily to take a look at those pages. Now, that's pretty much everything that we need to that is there for the custom pages, custom widgets, and just creating custom pages in general. Now, there is one other thing that I would like to go over today in regards to your club's website, and that is blocked emails. The blocked emails within Club Runner is a pretty big issue that I've seen a lot of clubs have run into, where they'll send out an email through Club Runner, and some other members won't receive it. Now, this could be due to a number of different reasons, but one of the main ones is that there was some sort of issue when an email has been sent out and it has been delivered to a recipient's mail servers. At that point, at that part of the exchange, when it's being delivered to the recipient, some issue might have gone on that would have prevented the email from being delivered. When this happens, an email is added to the blocked email list for your club. So let's go ahead and take a look at that really quickly. In the top blue navigation bar of our navigation menu, we can go ahead and click on Communication. And then we can go ahead and click on Manage Blocked Emails. And as you can see here, we have a number of different email addresses that are listed. In this case, we have 9 records, and all of them look to have a reason for blocked of invalid address. Now, what this means is that for that the email that we have listed here, they are not working emails. There's either a spelling error, or they gave us the wrong email address, or this email address is no longer in use and it's been disabled. So there can be a number of different reasons as to why you might see a blocked email list here, but generally they are added to this list because there was some sort of issue in delivering that email to the individual. So I do recommend that every so often, as a site administrator, you go in, you take a look at these managed blocked emails, and you review them to see just exactly what might be going on for some of your members. If you notice that an individual is not receiving emails, for whatever reason, this is always a good place to take a look at. As an additional note, as long as an email address is included within this manage blocked emails option, the club runner system will not be able to send out an email to them anymore. So we have John Ford listed here, and we have their jmford@example.com email address. It was added to the blocked email list on December 25th, 2021 for a reason of invalid address. So if we want to go ahead and we can correct this for John, so John can start to receive emails again. So the process that you're going to want to take is you're going to want to try to reach out to John or however you would like and confirm whether this email address is correct. If it's not, you can go into their member profile, update it to the correct email address, and then you can come to this manage blocked emails page, and for their record listed here, under the Actions tab, we can go ahead and click on the Unlock action. When that's done, it will remove them from the blocked emails list. You'll get a nice little confirmation message up at the top indicating that they're removed successfully. And now that they've been removed, the emails sent through Club Runner will once again be able to be processed by the Club Runner system and sent out to that member. Now, it's important to note that even if you do unblock a member from this blocked emails list, if the underlying issue as to why their email was blocked in the first place hasn't been resolved, they will just be added right back to the email the next time you send out, or to the blocked emails list the next time you send out an email to them. So it's always really important to go in, take a look at the specific reason as to why it might have been blocked, fix that issue, and then you can unblock them. If you run into any specific reasons where it doesn't make too much sense to you, you don't understand the reason that's provided, or nothing's really seems to be working, I do recommend that you reach out to our Club Runner support team. So you can, and we'll be able to assist, we'll be able to provide some more additional guidance in regards to what might be going on, as well as any additional insight that we might be able to provide. So if there are any issues, you can always feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be glad to get you pointed in the right direction. If you guys do want to reach out to our support team, there's a number of different ways. First, I recommend going to clubrunnersupport.com. This is our support knowledge base where we have a bunch of different help articles and video tutorials and previous webinar recordings available for you to review at any time. But you can also choose to click on this Contact Us button in the right corner, and you'll be able to go in and you can send an email to our support team, to either myself and Mickey here or some of our other support colleagues. We'll get your email and we'll be able to answer any questions that you may have. So that's pretty much everything that I did want to cover today for our webinar. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pass the webinar over to Mickey here, who will be taking you through a quick Q&A session. And we'll be answering a lot of the different questions that you may have had throughout the course of this webinar. So thank you guys again for sticking through with this and spending the time to learn about some of these more advanced features with the Club Runner. And Mickey, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you.
Thank you, Michael. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay, and so let's just get my screen up. I hope you can see my administration screen. Now, I wanted to answer some questions live. There were some fabulous questions. Thank you very much for everyone who typed in a question. I know it's not always possible because people are trying to follow along, but we do have our advanced users as well who have particular questions. Let's get to some particular questions. I'm going to actually get to something that's kind of a popular question. Now, what I did is I just made a notepad file of some of the big stuff so you could see it clearly. Where do you get the recordings? So, you know, everything is being recorded, and that's great. Where do you go to find the video recordings? So you're going to go to clubrunner.com/training. This is the link that everyone was sent for the actual registration. This is how you're registered. One of the ways you could register for the webinar. As of today, all the links and clubrunner.com/training for every session, they say register. Those will turn into view recording buttons. So those blue registration buttons will basically become links to the video when we get the video process. We just have to, we're processing the video as we speak, and we're trying to get them up as soon as we can. Everything will be up by end of May, beginning of June. All the sessions will be available after changeover is finished. So please go to clubrunner.com/training. It's the same registration link, and you will be able to access all the videos. So that was actually a big question. Okay. And what another question is, what's the preferred size for image carousels, whether they be on the home page? You know, I'm uploading images, and actually I forgot to mention one thing. First of all, actually, before I forget this, I'm just going to write this down. Should be same. So the images should be wide instead of square. So what does that mean? You're uploading an image. And, you know, a lot of people, they kind of hold their phone like in portrait mode, like they hold it, you know, tall instead of wide, which is, you know, not a problem. But for an image carousel, specifically on your home page, you want it to be wide instead of tall. There's a reason for that. So when you're putting an image carousel on your home page, and I'm here on our testing site, right, Greentown. I'm just going to click here on home. I'm going to open it in a new tab, and we're going to go to our homepage just so I can tell you or show you. This is an image carousel, and it's wide. In other words, it's a very wide image. It's not tall at all. And as you can see, as I advance, I can see the rest of the content below. So this is a wide image carousel. Now, this image carousel is a little bit taller. If this image carousel is, I guess I'll use the word too tall. In other words, if it was even taller than this, you'd actually have to scroll up and down. You might need to scroll up and down to see everything. What you want to prevent for a home page image carousel, you want to prevent scrolling up and down. You want that image to appear fully on the screen. So make your images wide in the image carousel. Let's go back to a suggested size. Like wide is fine, but that's not a real size. So this is a suggested dimension. 1,000, I'm just going to say 2,000 pixels wide. It's 1920, but 1920 is the width of one HD image, high definition image. So I'll just round it up to say 2,000 pixels wide by 600 pixels tall. This is not a rule. You don't have to now make every image that exact size. It's a guideline. So you can, you know, kind of fit within those constraints. That you're looking for wide. If it's going to be on the home page, you're looking for large. In other words, you know, 1,920 pixels wide. It's fairly large. Phones and cameras can take much larger, but you can aim for the size. If you make your images, let's just take another example, okay? Let's say you have all these images that are 400 by 400. In other words, 400 pixels wide, and it could be 500 or 200 or whatever, but you can tell already comparing the two sizes. The 400 by 400, first of all, that's a square image, okay? You are now getting closer to looking like this. That's not a mistake necessarily. It just means the wider images tend to look better on your homepage. Second of all, these images are too small. So even on phones today, the phones have very high res screens. So 400 pixel wide by 400 pixel tall image, that's pretty tiny. So it's not going to look very good, because what will happen is the image carousel will increase in size. It will blow itself up. And you don't want to zoom in on an image, especially a digital image. It just will not look good. So this is, this is a size suggestion, and you don't have to follow it, but it's more of a guideline. The third thing, all images in your carousel should be the same size. That's what you should aim for. If you're going to make everything, let's say you're going to make everything 1920 by, I don't know, 800 pixels tall. You will pick a size, right? Or you want to stick to 600. So make all your images 1920 by 600 tall. I'm going to go back to our homepage example. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to scroll up to the top, and you can see not only are my, I've been following those rules, a very wide image, but if I click, everything is the same size. So if one of these images, let's say the last one, was a different size, what would happen is it might kind of, the carousel, actually, I'll summarize it because I know we're over time, so I'm not going to go into huge detail. But if your carousel images are the same size, it just makes the carousel look a lot cleaner, and it's just easier to manage the carousel when all the images are the same size. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to go over, and I do apologize, I know we're over time, but I want to go over, because Michael covered some great ground. I want to talk about reports. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'm going to talk briefly about the report section in Club Runner. I'm going to click here. This is the member area. I'm already logged in. Okay. As you already know, I'm a site administrator, meaning I have the highest access level. If you're following along on your home computer, work computer, whatever, and you have grayed out commands, that basically means you don't have the highest access level. You may have a lower access level. You may be a regular member. I want to talk about their support section. If you're a website admin, you'll have access to everything. If you're a club executive, meaning level 50, you'll also have access to the club reports section. Along the top blue tabs, I'm going to click here on reports. It reveals all the different reports you have. I want to mention briefly these reports because, just as an example, I'm going to click here on gender distribution as an example. This report, these are all pre-built. I didn't type or make this chart, this little pie graph. The system made the pie graph because it used the information already stored in the database. So if you are an admin and you want to look up some reports, please do explore the reports section, because there's all these pre-built reports waiting there for you. And if you want to know, like, for example, age distribution, how old is your club, generally speaking, you can actually obtain that information without needing to look up really anything, right? And then one last report is called download member data. It's the last thing I'm going to mention. Download member data, what it is it's a way to access all the information that's already stored, or pretty much most of the information that is already stored in the database. So download member data is this section right here. Each of these little checkboxes, right? Membership, first name, last name, is a data point, right? So what I'm going to do, and I promise I won't go too much longer. I'm going to click on unselect all. I'm going to check first name. I'm going to check last name. I'm going to check date of birth, and I'm going to check anniversary. So I checked just 4 things, and there's a lot more data fields to explore. But what I can do on this page is I can actually just select the fields that I want, the database fields. As I scroll down slowly, you'll see, you know what, I don't really want honorary, so I'm only going to select my active and my satellite and corporate members. Oh, you know what, maybe I will, so you can start really customizing this thing to your heart's content. And then as you scroll down, there is a generate button. What you can do is you can actually you can just create a very, very quick custom report. When you get the hang of download member data, you can extract information usually within 1 to 2 minutes and get these really nice Excel files with all kinds of really nice information. Okay, so I'll just show you the result. That will be the last thing that I do, is I'll show you that, remember, this is not, there's no typing involved here. I just clicked and I got a report of first name, last name, the date of birth of the member, and the wedding anniversary of the member, if the information is stored in the database. You'll see a lot of blank fields, empty fields. That just means the information is not there for that particular member. I didn't type anything. This was just output within a minute of me using download member data. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to, we are going to conclude because we have been, we went a little bit over time, but what I want to make sure is that please, I want to mention, please do email us, support@clubrunner.ca. Okay, we're happy to take any and all questions from any and all members, club executive or not. We want to support your entire club. If you haven't already checked it out, please do see clubrunnercommunity.com. This is our online message board. You can speak with other Club Runner users from all over the world, from Italy, San Francisco, Sweden. All these members are on this message board and talking to each other. It's a closed system, meaning this is not a message board for general public. You need to be a Club Runner member with your club login and password in order to post on clubrunnercommunity.com. And lastly, most of you may already have it, but just in case, please do download our mobile app, clubrunner.com/mobile. It's free. It's already available to your club or district website. It's a wonderful, we call it the mobile directory in your pocket. You're carrying your phone around anyways. You can have a lot of club information at your disposal if you use the mobile app. I am going to conclude the webinar here. I want to thank everyone for staying so long and for asking such wonderful questions. As I mentioned, this webinar will be recorded, as will all of them. And I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Take care.